Hello, fellow detectives. Before we get into this episode of Treachery, please remember I am judging these players based off of an edit of this TV show. Their devious deeds do not define them as total people, so please don't send them any hate for being up to no good, for that is the name of this game. Enjoy the episode. We have 22 of the who's who of reality television in Australia, and a brand new ringmaster of ruin, and the suspicion is already rife, and the game hasn't even properly begun. Welcome to a brand new season of Treachery, as we uncover all the devious deeds in Traitors Australia Season 3. Hello fellow detectives, and welcome to our very first debrief on the podcast formerly known as Once Upon a Faithful, that has now become Treachery, because we are here to talk about all the devious no-good deeds that these reality stars are up to on Traitors Australia Season 3. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about in this episode. One's already left, the game is now afoot, and suspicion began from the very first minute. So let's start from the very beginning. Now, if you didn't listen or watch to the Meet the Players episode, I'm going to give you some general thoughts on our cast, especially now that I have seen this episode, because I have to say, it's a pretty damn strong cast. As I said in the mini review over on Instagram and TikTok, which I must say, thank you for the reaction to the mini review. This cast had me transfixed. I will be sat. This show is now officially appointment viewing, just like its UK counterpart for me. This is spectacular. They very much, from the get-go, were, we are here to play a game, let's play the damn game. And that is what we got. Because Dicko, straight out the gate, is like, I'm ready to just do what I need to do. Which I feel like kind of set the tone for us, if I'm honest. This cast very much seem like they are ready to play this game. Even somebody like Rob Farnham, which we're going to get to a little later on. But you know what? That sneaky little moment is what I love in shows like this. It's such a small moment, but it really set the cat amongst the pigeons. But we will get to Mr. Rob and his sneaky little deeds a little later on when we get to the challenge. But this cast is freaking fantastic. So let's get in to what happened when they first arrived at the manor. We get introduced in the most deranged, perfect way to our new ringmaster of ruin, of course, the Australian television icon that is Gretel Killeen, who, honestly, I had some high expectations for this episode, but she blew me away. It's giving the best of Claudia and Alan combined, and then multiple layers thrown on top. This is perfect. That entrance with the blood-soaked wedding dress was totally bizarre, but I was like, yes, give me the nonsense, give me the camp. This is so good. So good. Now she then gives our faithful, at that time, of course, a lovely little welcome gift, in that they must choose the most virtuous to then make a terrible decision. Of course, our group put Shane Gould, former Olympian and two-time Survivor player, once winner, in that position. And boy oh boy, does that go well. Because she does some sort of deranged karate chop and then chooses poor defenseless Cam to be given the unceremonious goodbye. And do you know what? I really felt for Cam in this moment. As I said in the Meet the Players episode, not a huge Cam fan, but you've got to feel for somebody when they step away from their life, everything they're doing, to come and do a job, which is what this is. It's a game. He's here to play for money like everybody else. And then you don't even get a chance to play. Ouch. Will we see Cam reappear like we've seen previously in the UK? May he get his revenge upon Shane? I guess we will see. Will Shane survive past the first banishment or round table? I guess we shall see. Because let me tell you this, I think even though the rest of the faithful don't know who the traitors are, which we will unpack very soon, I promise, I think there is a massive target on Shane's back because of that job. So whether or not they know, I think Shane is going to be in that firing line if indeed she isn't murdered straight away in that first round table. I think the writing is just on the wall there. So I really do believe Shane has her work cut out for her, because that would be a very difficult position to be in when everybody is already highly suspicious, and that is the first thing you do in this game. Fantastic television for us, but I really don't know what that karate chopping was. We almost would have been better off putting her in the coffin, spinning her around a few times, and going, now choose someone. Because that was bizarre. But Shane made the choice to send poor dear Cam home. So Cam didn't even get to step foot inside the manor. However, the rest of our celebrities have. And the scheming has already begun. Because Dicko is trying to lead a alliance or a traitor hunting gang, if you will, with Rob Farnham. Which I'm like, okay. And then he's going to get Cosima on side. I worry that Dicko has too big of a mouth. So I'm like, is Dicko going to accidentally draw attention to this group that he's building, and then it's all going to go kabang? Would I love to see that? Of course. But I am a little worried for Mr. Dicko. I don't think he can keep his trap shut well enough. But I guess we'll see. But that, of course, leads us to the all-important first Traitors pick of this game. And we have Alex, Alvin, and Kirby as our starting traitors. Now, I said it in the mini recap, but I have to be brutally honest with you. I think Alex, as a traitor, is going to drive me up the frickin' wall. There is a level of over-eagerness that, while entertaining, yes, and I'm really glad she wants to play this game, I almost feel the need to reach through the screen and shake her and go, just calm it down. Because, much like Kirby, with the jacket of it all, which I promise we will come to very shortly, the over-eagerness, while we're seeing it in confessionals, how can you be sure that that's not bleeding into your game within the walls of the manor or during the missions? So it's a very fine line to walk, as we've seen with some previous traitors. And while I do appreciate that she is eager to play the game, and I enjoy that because that's what I want to see, it's a very fine line to just blow everything up, because I feel like that's what's going to happen with Kirby, which is a real shame because I think she's very smart. And I think she is a fantastic pick for a traitor. But I don't know that she's doing a very good job of actually keeping it under wraps at the moment. Because Queen's already, clocked it with the jacket. So, how are you going to defute that? Are you going to say that Queen was hearing things? That's not a very good cover, Kirby. And I don't see that going well, because Queen is not one to go up against. No. But also, yes, because we want the wonderful, wonderful television that will be. So, I'm really worried for Kirby. In my mini recap, I thought the person I'd be most worried about would be Alex, but watching the show back again, I'm like, I don't know about this. And I think Alvin is incredibly lucky because he has these two that are walking various tightropes, and he can just kind of slide in under the radar and and I think he will be a fantastic traitor as well. Not only is he already giving us fantastic confessionals, but I feel like he has the right level of let me be mischievous, but let me present a front to everybody else. And that's what I don't think either of his other two traitors are doing, and in varying degrees are capable of doing. I would love to be wrong here, just to be very clear, but off initial impression, I'm like, uh-oh, this could end quite badly. But then on the flip side, we have some other very clear lines being drawn. We have obviously the beef with Alex and Kira, but also Kira and Manaki. So maybe, just maybe, Alex can divert suspicion Kira's way and she might survive a week or two. But I guess we'll see. After the break, we're going to dive into the very first group mission, and I will give you my thoughts on who the traitors might murder first. I'll see you in just a second, fellow detectives. Welcome back, fellow detectives. It is time to talk about our very first group mission. Home to a couple of my favourite moments from this episode, so we are going to get cracking. Because our ring master of ruin introduces us to one of her many dead husbands, because her beloved dog/lions have been digging in the garden. And that means our motley crew of reality stars has to break up into different groups and are on the hunt to find the missing bones to this ex-husband. Before we get into the mission, though, I have to point out Tully's confessional. That was hysterical. It was just so well delivered, of like buying into Gretel's bit, and I really enjoyed the way Tully just delivered that, of being like, everyone she talks about dies, because I feel like I would be the same. So I very much resonated with that, and it was very good. It's one of the things I'm enjoying most about this series, is they're very much leaning into the humour and the mischievousness, and I think that kind of sets it apart a little bit, which is really fun. But onto this challenge, our teams had to find the various bones in various parts of the manor and its grounds. First of all, ma'am, why do you have a witch den? The shrine I can maybe understand, and the dog kennel I can also get. But the witch space, I was like, is that how the husbands died? Our teams were on their way, and this also led me to the other moment from this challenge, with the shrine team with Gamble climbing on Rob Farnham's back like some sort of deranged football tackle spike thing. I was like, what is happening? And the shrieking going on. Also, Gamble, the fact that you called that bone a penis was just absolutely bizarre in the best way. This team, I think, was the most fun to watch, although I think it is worth pointing out of Lawson's slight temper tantrum in his confessional about losing the shield to Rachel. He did not seem pleased, and I think that is a teeny tiny bit of the strain of this competition already showing in Lawson. So that's going to be very interesting if he's cracking this early. But back to our shrine team, they were total chaos, but it also gave us another wonderful moment. Yes, when Rob sneakily grabbed that shield. Now, first of all, not only was this impressive, but second of all, it led us to absolute carnage, because, I mean, once the cat was out of the bag, it was a free-for-all of do we tell them, do we not do? And I was like, what is going on here? You all need to take several deep breaths and calm down. Eventually, they came to a resolution to shut up about it, but I can't help but wonder if the other teams probably have overheard that, and it's already, like, donezo anyway. I don't know. That team, bless them, as much as they were great to watch, there was no real cohesion, so I can completely understand why Rob took the shield for himself. Will that save him? Well, it might save him from being murdered, but will it save him from being banished? Because I wonder if the sneaky shield grabbing will raise suspicion within his own team. Because at the end of the day, they're not teams in the rest of the game. So will that be a problem? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Also of note is Kirby leading her team to be like, we don't need to find the shield. That was a very clever play. Because, of course, as a traitor, you don't want more faithfuls having shields. It gives you less options to bump somebody off. That is the name of this game, right? So, very clever play from Kirby there. But, because of the suspicion of Queen, will we see this clever play come back to bite Kirby? I suspect we might. Anyway, before I love and leave you for this episode, fellow detectives, I want to give you my first little inklings of what might go down come our first murder. Okay, so I think those facing the first murder are as follows. I think the traitors will make a mistake and potentially murder Shane. I could see that happening. But I also think the other survivor players need to be concerned, because I wouldn't be surprised, even though she's trying to rally the troops, whether Kirby throws one of the other survivor boys under the bus. I think it is highly likely. But that is your lot for the very first episode of Treachery. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please leave a comment over on the YouTube channel or on Spotify, or come and say hello over on socials and give me your thoughts about this very first episode of what is shaping up to be a fabulous season of Traitors Australia. It is at We Are Glitterball for the socials that you need. Thanks for being here. I'll see you very soon for our next episode of Treachery. But in the meantime, stay safe out there, fellow detectives. Take care.